Alright, how's it going, guys? My name is Mason. I'm the head ref out here at APA. Very briefly, I'm just going to go over our rules and regulations just to keep you all safe for your day of play out here at APA. So to kick it off, I need to mention first and foremost that it is a 5-mile-per-hour speed limit on the property. So as you guys roll on in the dirt road, please keep that speed down to 5 miles per hour. Likewise, when you guys roll out at the end of the day, please keep that speed down to 5 miles per hour then as well. Safety is number one out here at APA, so at all times we require everyone to have eye protection on. This includes the staging area and the parking lots. The main reason, just that unpredictable things happen. BBs fly everywhere during game. We always want your eyes covered while you're out here at APA. When you're on the field, that eye pro must be Z87 rated or better. And if you are under the age 18, it must be full seal. Some people ask if the mesh goggles are okay. Unfortunately, those do not provide enough protection because they do not provide protection against the little chunks of BBs, little figments of BBs popping off. So those are no-go. So make sure you guys are rocking fragments of BBs. Make sure you guys are rocking and rolling with Z87 rated glasses. The solid plastic over your eyes is required. And moving on to Blind Man. Blind Man is pretty simple. Blind fire is what is announced when somebody loses their eye pro out on the field. So basically, if somebody loses their eye pro or is injured, and one player observes that, they're going to yell Blind Man as loud as they can, which indicates to all other players that we have an issue on the field that requires our immediate attention. So you guys see someone without eye pro, you yell Blind Man, and you make your gun safe when you hear Blind Man as well. So that means that you remove your magazine from your gun, flip your gun to safe, and then point them at the dirt. Yell Blind Man as loud as you can. Indicates to all other players that they're going to do the same exact thing. And no unsafe maneuvers on the field. Basically, that just means that your feet must be glued to the ground at all times. No jumping over tower stacks, no vaults through windows. Feet must be glued to the ground at all times. And cheating is not tolerated out here at APA. Cheating tends to take one of 3 different forms. So first and foremost is not calling your hits. If you're hit anywhere on your body, we're talking hands, feet, torsos, heads, any part of your apparel, as well as with the BB, you are out. So that hand comes up, you yell hit, and then you take the walk back to spawn. You are back in the game once you touch your spawn with a foot or a hand. Another form of cheating is not getting your gun chrono. Before you take the field, all guns that you're using for that round must be chrono with an APA referee. That's just to ensure that the guns are in compliance with our field safety limits and they're not too powerful. And finally, don't overshoot players out there. If you see somebody with their hand up, you're not going to shoot them. That indicates that they've called themselves out and they're taking the walk back to spawn. Even if somebody doesn't have their hand up, make sure to put a reasonable number of BBs into them. So 2 or 3, that's reasonable, so that hand comes up. But 7 or 8, not so reasonable. That'd be overshooting. Make sure you're not overshooting any opponents out there. Just keep it safe, 1 or 2, no more. And we're going to move on. So a lot of people ask, does friendly fire count? Yes, indeed, friendly fire does count. I like to say that means you should be nice to your friendlies, right? But friendly fire counts, but gun hits and ricochets do not count. So anything off your gun, anything off your mag doesn't count, but holster hits count, right? And apparel hits count, like we already discussed. And dead men do not talk. If you guys are eliminated out in the field, you may not communicate with your teammates who are still alive because dead men are dead, and dead men can't talk. And engagement distances, these are the distances that you will receive when you chrono your guns with our APA ref, right? If you guys receive a 0-foot engagement tag, it means that that gun may be used to clear buildings and it may be engaged basically point blank with your opponents. As long as you have air in between the muzzle of your gun and your opponents, you can shoot them with a 0-foot gun. A 20-foot gun may not be used to clear buildings. You must maintain at least 20 feet in between you and your opponents while you engage them with a 20-foot gun. And 100-foot guns, basically you may not use a 100-foot gun to clear buildings, and you must maintain at least 100 feet in between you and your opponents while you engage them with a 100-foot gun. In the event that we do run a full auto game, those tags 0-foot or 20-foot may use their guns in full auto. However, they must maintain at least 20 feet in between them and their opponents while they are engaging them, and there is no building clear with a 20-foot gun. So long story short, when it comes to full auto engagements inside a building, if you yourself are inside the same building as your opponents, you may not use full auto to target those opponents. That is strictly prohibited. And we're moving on to blind fire. Blind fire is pretty straightforward. You must present a target for your opponents to shoot back at while you are targeting them. So basically, if you have your head sticking out a little bit, that's fine. But if you have your gun way up above your head and you're shooting blindly, that's a no-go. That's blind fire. It is not permitted because it does pose a safety hazard. Bang kills are an informal rule out here. Simply put, we don't have any formal rules on bang bang rules, unlike other fields. That's really leave it at that. Basically, if you have somebody within 20 feet or 0 foot, whatever your engagement distance is, you can shoot them. You're not required to initiate a bang bang kill, nor are you required to take a bang bang kill either. Knife kills and melee kills are on the table. Melee weapons must be of plastic or foam construction, no stabbing, jabbing, or slashing. If you are targeting someone with a melee weapon, gently, emphasizing gently, tap them on the shoulder, and then they are out. And parlay kills occur when 2 players shoot and are shot within a 1 second span. Simply put, 2 players shoot, both players hit, 1 second span in between the BBs, both players are out. If it's too close to call, 2 players riding the corner at the same time, and they both shoot or both hit, that's basically a parlay kill. Both players in that scenario would be out. And we'll go over our grenade rules briefly. When it comes to grenades, they must be thrown underhand, never sidearm nor overhand. If you are targeting players inside of buildings, they must be thrown through windows or doorways, never over the top of walls. If you guys are inside of a building, grenade goes bang, you're not behind cover. Unfortunately for you, you are out. If you're outside of the building, grenade goes bang, you're within 15 feet of that grenade, you're out there. If you're hit by any spraying BBs from a grenade at any distance, you're out there as well. When it comes to grenades, they must be thrown, like I mentioned, underhand, never sidearm, nor overhand. When it comes to pyro grenades, anything we'll say between the months of May and September, power grenades are not permitted in that time. Other grenades are fine, but power grenades, smoke grenades, not permitted between the months of May and September. If you have any questions on if your grenade is legal or not, you can always ask a referee. And also, I'll get to this at the end, but also you can email us at allpatriotairsoft@gmail.com. allpatriotairsoft@gmail.com with your questions. And airsoft is a zero contact sport. The only contact you're making with your opponents is with plastic BBs. We do not tolerate any verbal or physical harassment. Those initiating verbal or physical harassment on their fellow players or staff will be ejected from the field. It is that simple. We do not have any tolerance for those initiating verbal or physical harassment at our field. Players are allowed to reach the first line of bunkers outside of their spawn. So simply put, if somebody's advancing on a spawn, they may not be shot unless they shoot at you first or they get to the first line of bunkers. It is that simple. If you have an issue with a player, please take it to referee as well. They're walking around looking a lot like me in one of our orange APA staff shirts or the red APA staff shirts. Just let them know what's going on. If someone's being unsafe, someone's overshooting, someone doesn't have their iPro on, any kind of issue that requires our attention, please let us know what's going on. We don't want anybody to go home, feeling sour because they weren't addressed. Any issues that they had weren't addressed. We want to address all your issues, all your concerns, just to make sure you have a good day of play on your APA. When it comes to players disobeying our rule set, we do subscribe to the 3 strike rule. So the first time we catch someone doing something they're not supposed to be doing, they will receive a strike that is their warning. The second time we catch someone doing something they're not supposed to be doing, their strike 2, they will be sitting out for a game. And then the third time we catch anyone doing something they're not supposed to be doing, they'll be ejected from the field. So 1, 2, 3 strikes, a player will be tossed out. Be perfectly frank, perfectly candid. That happens very rarely. As long as you guys are making an effort to understand our rules and asking questions on things you don't understand, you're going to be in good shape. The fact that you're already watching this video means you're going to be in good shape. So thank you for doing that. We are family-friendly fields. Please no excessive use of foul language. That was pretty straightforward. And please pick up your own trash at the end of the day. There are designated trash bins and designated recycling bins around the property, guys. Bottles and cans, those belong in the recycling bin. Everything else belongs in the trash bin. There is a difference between trash and recycling. If you guys can help us out with that, separating that trash from the recycling, that would be greatly beneficial to us. Just finishing up here, a couple extra things. When it comes to smoking and vaping, we do have a designated smoking and vaping area near the porta potties. That's going to be on the east side of the property if you guys roll on in. So that's designated for smoking and vaping. When it comes to alcohol and non-prescription drugs, those are strictly prohibited. Those using alcohol or non-prescription drugs at our property at APA will be ejected from the field immediately. So strict prohibition, no exceptions for obvious reasons. That's that right there. If you do have a concealed carry firearm, it must be locked away in your vehicle, and any kind of word that reaches reps or any kind of players about a firearm, the owner of that firearm will be ejected from the field and will not be allowed back. We do not have any kind of firearms, no real firearms are allowed nothing like that. Replicas only, airsoft guns only. Anyone caught shooting at or harming wildlife will be ejected from the field as well. And last 2, maybe 3 things. If you do have expensive equipment, we strongly recommend you keep track of your own personal belongings. Unfortunately, here at APA, we cannot assume liability for lost or stolen items. It is your responsibility as a player to ensure the safety of your own equipment. And no dogs off leash at any time. When it comes to dogs, we love dogs. Dogs are totally cool. Just make sure they're kept on a leash and in control at all times. We don't want to have any dogs running around the field while games in progress. Could be a danger for both the pet and also our players out there. And finally, if you would like to play in any game, we will run approximately 9 games a day. At the very minimum, we will run 9. You must be present at the game briefing for that game. If you miss the game briefing, we will have to unfortunately have you sit out for that game, and we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that you are able to play in any game that you would like to play in. The reason why we do that is just to ensure that the teams are balanced. If we have a couple extra people trickling in after we've already sorted the teams and balanced the teams, it will throw off the balance of the game, and we don't want to have that. We want to have nice, competitive, fun games for everybody, so that's why we enforce the rules when it comes to attending briefing. And that just about wraps it up. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions on any of the material I went over today, you can email us at allpatriotairsoft@gmail.com or call the field line as well. That's just fine too. Hope you have a great day and hope you guys come out soon. Thanks.